There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
And I'm Brandon.
Okay, so Wes doesn't know the topic yet because we didn't tell him. Brandon and I started talking about something, and we can talk about other things too because you probably don't want to talk about this.
Go for it.
All right, so Brandon and I were talking about the things back in the day of the video store. Certain video stores had a bunch of B-horror movies.
Yes.
And you knew there was one place that had the B-horror. And so you always went there when you wanted a good, like Pumpkinhead or something like that. Something that's not, run-of-the-mill.
What about Faces of Death?
That's it.
Are you serious?
That's what we were going to talk about.
Are you freaking kidding me, bro?
Did you tell him?
I swear to God, no. No way. I would never. Swear to God. Nope. Swear. I'm like, that's why my eyes...
Shut up!
That sucks. I can't... I'm so disappointed.
Okay, so we're talking about a few things, but we're going to talk about Faces of Death for a minute.
Okay.
I can't believe you just said that.
I'm so disappointed.
Because this is exactly, we were talking about that's how the conversation started,
Absolutely.
I believe. And then, I can't remember who it was mentioned Faces of Death, right? Dude!
At the
I remember
same
Faces,
time,
but we
yeah.
didn't know anyone else that watched it.
I thought it was just me.
And now there's another one. Okay, so for people who don't know, Faces of Death is something you would never find on the internet today or anywhere.
No way. That's Black Web.
It wouldn't be in anyone's. If there was a video store,
Did you hear my dad say Black Web?
the Black Web.
That's the dark web or something. It's dark.
Okay, I think. I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong with my daughter. She don't think I'm cool anymore.
Back in the day, we kept that Black Web separated
Bro.
from the regular web. Okay, Grandpa. Okay, Boomer. There you go.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's good. It's like that dark hole out in space.
Don't choke yourself with your rope belt.
Hey, I used to wear my mom's.
Okay, so Faces of Death was an actual video series that you could rent, and at certain places. I know the one that I always got mine was the one off of West Plaza. I think it's called West Plaza back then. It was a bunch of shopping centers or whatnot. Where Frogs Antiques is.
Yeah, Hogan's. It was Hogan's
Hogan's.
Plaza.
Hogan's Plaza. That's where it was. Brother, and that's where I used to get my Faces of Death because they were the only ones that had it.
Yep.
And Faces of Death, actually, and how they did this, who knows? This is back in the day before the lawsuit came around.
It is insane. They could even cut this out.
But they showed actual real life death, dismemberment, suicide, like the stuff you can't find on the internet forever, even on the Black Web. It's just, this is stuff that's the real seedy underground stuff now, but was in a public rent-a-place where you could get Land Before Time 3. There was only 3 back then, not 17.
I rented the Transformer movie at there.
There you go. Along with Faces of Death.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah, same time. But yes, you could rent other movies. I did, but I would always go and rent those too. And there's some images that we're talking about, like people getting they're chopping off limbs, people still screaming, still alive. And you're there watching it too.
Their arm just not
some
there
of that
anymore.
is some trick photography. You
Nah,
understand?
bro.
I don't think back then they faked things
bro.
back then. Okay. You think it was fake?
Really?
I definitely think some of it was fake.
Okay.
Do you definitely? Which parts?
I think them beating the monkey over the head and eating its brains. I think that's not exactly on the
I don't remember that one, but I do remember there was one that
like I
was
do
a
remember
bunch of
that.
cruelty to animals, and that
I
was the
watched
one
that,
that disgusted me the most. And here's the thing, I don't really care about pets, but I did not like the cruelty to animals, and that's what got me. I was like, I can't do these anymore.
Yeah.
That was the worst one. I mean, like I'm watching someone blow his brains out,
That's
literally
the one that
blow
gets
his
me.
brains out.
It's like the senator, the congressman, or whatever. and he
Sheriff
goes-
or whatnot.
The payphone?
Yeah, and this is a guy.
No,
who's
he's
doing
giving
a
it in a press conference.
He's resigning from his position because
Oh,
he got
yeah,
caught,
he pops.
and he's just.
He got
I
caught,
think
and
I'm
then
just gonna do this.
And just takes the gun
like
and
a faucet
shoots
turned
himself.
on. I've
Yeah,
never
that
seen
was the
blood
first
that
time I ever-
fast.
yeah.
That freaked me out. That's
Yeah.
the last time I watched it. Was that scene? I was just
Yeah.
like, that's too much. And my
That was
dad
pretty
was writing
graphic.
this for me when I was a kid. He
So
didn't
there's
know
a
any
bunch of
different.
your dad was watching
no
with
idea.
you.
No, written it for me. He had no
Written
idea
it
what I
for
was
you.
getting. Yeah, absolutely. He had no
He
idea.
he
His
didn't
dad was
understand
on
what
the Black Web.
He
it
on the
was
Black
called.
Web. He thought, man, it's a little scary, but it's fine. I mean,
It
I
was
just wanna
called
watch it.
Faces of Death.
I know, dude.
What did he think it was?
How did we rent that as kids too? Like we
That's what I'm
rented
saying.
it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
It
is,
was like
you could rent it, and it was totally fine. It wasn't behind the beaded
Yeah,
curtain or something
yeah.
like that. It was just out there, and it had
Yeah.
a skull on it, It had a warning
Yeah.
graphic content label.
They had it at other video stores before they got rid of it. Like I remember like National Video and all of
National
that
Video
stuff.
had it too back in the day. Okay,
yeah.
that's a pretty big chain.
Yeah.
So this is stuff you could find, and maybe people in the comments will tell us that they actually rented this too back in the day. But that's insane to think you could go into a rental store. You know, it's like and buy and get a copy of this and watch it. Much less, I mean, this is back before the internet was really a thing, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the black web was black because not everyone had AOL.
Or Prodigy.
Okay? Or Juno.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, you know, you could ask Jeeves about the Faces of Death videos. That's what you did back in the day. But that's insane that those even existed at one time. And no one thought anything of it. At the video rental store, you think the whole town, in a small, sleepy town like this, they'd rise. Now, that'd be make major news. People would be up in arms about it.
Yeah.
But it was just Faces of Death. What you gonna do? It was the 90s. You know, this wasn't even the 80s. This is the 90s here.
I
Well, it
cannot
came
believe you
out in the
said
late
that.
80s.
That's what blows
Came
my
out in the
mind.
late 80s, but I didn't watch them till like
Yeah.
late 90s,
early
I think.
90s I watched it.
I mean, I was definitely in
Dang,
the...
early 90s. You were younger than me than watching them.
Yeah, I was watching like when I was like 14, 15.
No, I think I was in college at that point.
Yeah.
But
I
a
was
lot of people had
watching
seen them.
12, 13, because that's my parents. My parents, when I was 10, they split up. That's why.
Oh, here's
no,
another
no,
podcast.
No, that's just where. That's like, hey man,
Oh, brother.
that's my BC. That's what happened. That's before childhood destruction. Okay, that was mine.
Brandon doesn't want to hear, Wes doesn't want to hear about anyone's drama.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, geez, your sad childhood again? Here we go.
Let me tell you about mine. I had to have
Yeah.
a blah, blah, blah,
When I see
Asthma
Faces of Death, it
inhaler.
reminds me
Inhaler.
of the bloody
Memory
divorce.
A Friday in the Bill.
Wow. It's like, whew, stone cold here.
Sorry about that. I was just trying to categorize them.
No, that's fine.
That's how I remember it, because my
So-
mom was not around. I mean, my
So
dad
it was a
a wreck.
sad moment, and you took your rage out by
Yeah,
living
absolutely.
through the violence that Faces of Death provided.
Yep.
That seems healthy.
I definitely not.
That sounded like a lyric. Living through the violence that Faces of Death provided.
Dang, Lil Wayne.
Oh,
I
look
like
out.
it.
Poet
Dude.
didn't know it. There you go. Our next Rad. You know, in Rad 2, we'll add that song.
Dude,
That'd be one of the
I'll
lyrics
write
of the
it.
music.
I could do the music.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you knew Faces of Death. All right.
You could be our
So-
bouncer.
They also had the they had the adult section. And the adult section here in our town, there was no beaded curtain. It was one aisle you walked down. It was right next to action.
like the
or
walk of
something.
shame, too,
Like when
man.
you're walking
Anybody
through
looking?
it, you're walking through action, then you turn the corner like, oh.
Real action.
But then you kind of have to speed walk through it, or your mom's going to catch you in
Oh,
there. But you
yeah.
still walk down.
I
it.
just kept having to go down that aisle for some reason. I don't know
You
what it
still
was.
walk down that aisle as much as you can without your mom figuring out what aisle you're walking down.
I'm gonna put this one back up. I don't.
But
want
while
this one.
everyone's looking for movies, you're like, I'm gonna look over here. Oh, this isn't it, but I'm gonna look real fast. I'm gonna look. Okay, I know which ones I need to go back and look. Hold on, I need to go back and see something. So you walk through that one aisle to get to the other spot there. So and those were just out in the open, you know. Any of those you could rent out. So that's another crazy thing that they had back then. Because even when we were kids, the nudie magazines were behind the counter at the gas stations. You know, even they knew enough to keep them away, unless you're at Books A Million.
really.
They had their Playboy penthouse, I believe, on the racks.
Or Walden Books or B. Dalton. And
Did they really?
I
Yeah.
forgot all about those.
See, I was
man.
actually getting Star Wars. I never looked at the magazine racks there, but
Well, my lightsaber was moving differently.
the force was flowing through you. Force was strong. There you go. But that's kind of crazy that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And other
We had
thing.
a lot of rental places too. We were kind of talking about that, but I mean, like, we had. What do you think we had around here at one time?
Well, you did a podcast, a couple of years ago where you talked about renting horror movies in town. And you went to this one, like in Balkanville, that
Yeah.
you used to always
I told
talk
you
to-
about her.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
to this woman about,
Yeah.
and like you were like, I'm going to come back rent movies. He's like, I never went back.
I never after
I know
I
exactly
won
what you're talking
on the
about.
radio. I won a free rental every week for a year, and she even offered to give me a discount if I start coming back. I said sure, and I never went back.
And I called him at the end when I listened. I was like, man, that was a sad ass podcast. Like left this woman hanging.
yeah,
That is true.
I did.
You're the reason that.
Well,
videos
back
are
then,
gone.
Balkanville was way out there. It was way down
It's still
that
way
road.
out there.
way down that road. But it was in that gas station. I told you about
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
That was the
yeah,
one I was
yeah.
telling you about.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, man, but we only went out there. We probably burnt, but back then gas was like 80 cents back then a gallon. But we were still probably burning more gas than what it was
all
worth just to go out
relative,
there.
absolutely, yeah.
But I really enjoyed that one. That person and everything. And we got a lot because she was excited for me to talk to her about the newest movie I just got for free, and she didn't have a problem. Everyone else was kind of giving me the dirty eye after a while. Like, here's the guy coming in for his free movie. Yeah, well, you signed up for free. You got free radio ads out of it. So what do you complain about?
Yeah.
But with her, I do
You
feel
like
bad.
me love a good deal, just like Brandon. Brandon.
Well, I mean, this
loves
is
a
back
good
in the
hookup.
college
I love a
days,
good
man.
deal.
You had to stretch that dollar. This is back when, remember McDonald's had the 29-cent Wednesday burgers?
You were talking about stretching
And-
more than $1 on that aisle.
Well, yeah. But
Is that the aisle you became a man on?
no. But that where that was? That
where
aisle
it
was
started.
Video Giant. Remember Video Giant?
Oh wow, yeah.
They had the aisle. I remember, but you know what? I think National Video did too. I think National Video also had the aisle. All of
But the
them did.
beaded curtain, if you could find one of those, that's where.
That's
That's
hard
next
percent.
level.
We
You're-
never had a
it's real
beaded
deal.
curtain here, did we? I don't know. I didn't go.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I went to because
They had a
when
lot
trying
of
to
vivid picture
find
type quality stuff. I think it doesn't.
back
seem like
when
we had a bunch
back
of
before Evil Dead became a cult classic.
Oh, yeah.
we were looking for a copy of it because Army of Darkness had come out. We rented it. I loved it. My buddy goes, this is based off some other movies. I went, really? And it took us forever to find Evil Dead 1 and 2. And we went to one of those I think it was a National Video or something or Movie Gallery. And they happened to have one copy of Evil Dead and one copy of Evil Dead 2. And that was the only place in town. And we loved them.
Man, that's something that think about that. Like Gabby will never understand the frustration of going to go to the movie theater, the movie rental place, try to get the one you want to see, and there's 3 copies and none of them are there. Bro, that's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Or when you're trying to get that new release, but they're sold out at Blockbuster, saying you have to go to
Everybody.
every single one to see if they have one.
It's
Or you
ridiculous.
sit and wait to see.
Yeah.
Well, we have some there due back later on tonight, so you're just sitting there by the
Remember
counter.
that.
And
It's
every time
crazy.
someone comes by to drop off one, you're like a little dog,
got? What
start
you got?
wagging your tail, and you start going at the counter, and they shake their head like, no, not there, and you're like,
It's like waiting for a seat at Ray's
and then you're
PG.
sitting back down waiting. And you didn't have a cell phone back then. You didn't have anything. You're just looking at the clock. You were looking at the
Yeah.
popcorn or buckets or whatnot. You're watching the previews on the TV for the umpteenth time. So
God, that's some good
kind of
times, man.
that's kind of but you used to one of the date night things after you went out to eat. You went to Blockbuster for
Absolutely.
an hour or any place for an hour. Walked up and down the aisles, holding on to something you may want to rent.
That's right.
Just in case you can't find anything else, because you have to have it in your hand, or once you put it down, someone else will grab it.
Yep.
And then sometimes someone's following you around because they're waiting to see if you'll
They really
put it down.
are, yeah.
And if you put it down, they'll grab it, and you're like, "Oh, should I have gotten that?" Because someone else wanted
That's why
it.
you
Now
got to
that
tuck it
makes me
behind a
want it.
different title, man.
You'd hide them
I did.
too, because if you had
Yeah.
to come back because you forgot your card
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
whatnot, or you didn't have cash, you'd go and hide it behind one of the other cassettes. That was another bold move.
Forgot my
there.
checkbook.
Yeah.
Got my pay and change.
Yeah, if you didn't have the cash, you didn't have the debit card or whatnot. Debit cards weren't that big a deal, but you're like, oh no, I gotta go get cash.
Yeah.
So then you'd hide the. That's a good call. I forgot about that, but we'd always hide it. You'd hide it behind something that was not even.
Yeah, nobody
you
would
know,
ever want.
The
Still
sci-fi
Magnolias.
movie was behind the western, or whatnot.
Or Still Magnolias. Who goes
But you
watch
knew
it?
exactly because you memorized what movie you put it behind.
Oh yeah. And at a certain point, they got people that come behind you also, like work that they would also start. They look for that kind of
Well,
stuff.
they were constantly putting things back, and that's what sucked.
Good
Tried to
times,
hide
dude.
it.
That
You
was
know
so
what I
fun.
used to, I did once? I dug through the the candy basket.
Yeah.
I buried my VHS underneath the candy basket.
So smart.
So then all we had to do is dig up the candy. No one's gonna buy that candy for like $5 a box, you
Yeah,
know?
good point.
Because the concessions were like movie concessions. No, we'll go to Walmart. We'll get it cheaper, or the grocery store or something. Get cheaper boxes of candy. Don't buy popcorn there. Don't be a fool.
Totally, man. that's
Popcorn's
good.
cheaper at
That's a good word.
Walmart, so you don't buy that. So no one's gonna buy the candy. So I just dug underneath the candy. The little basket
Yeah,
they used to have.
But if you're
Absolutely.
on a date, you're going to get the movie box.
Did you buy the two popcorns, the candy, and the?
Dude, you're
I
freaking
would do
baller, son.
whatever
You did?
it takes
Okay.
To,
to
That's
not
nice of-
have to
you mean you didn't have that
rewind
stuff
my
at
video.
home? Oh. Well, yeah. Be Kind Rewind. The sticker on there. Put it on every one.
what was the fee? Remember you had to have
$1.
like a rewinder?
$1.
Yeah, like they had rewinders. They'd have
$1.
out
They
there.
just were pissed off that
Isn't
they had to do it.
crazy, man.
It was a speed one too. Get go a lot faster.
It
than
was a
ours.
car. It was shaped like a
It kind
car.
of like Brandon stuttering.
I don't really know who you're talking about. Who you talking
when you
about?
get
What do you mean?
Yeah. But another thing,
Shouldn't pick on people.
shifting from videos.
Definitely.
Another thing that's crazy I think was happening back in the day was there were smoking and non-smoking sections in the restaurants.
That's wild.
And
I wish they had smoking sections again.
you wish that'd come back.
Because I think it would. I would like to encourage people to start smoking again and stop vaping.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
vaping's the quote-unquote cooler way to do it, and it's kind of a dumb
I
thing.
think it's just killing people quicker.
You think so?
I think so.
Vaping, I thought vaping was supposed to be better for you.
Well, if you read the black web,
It's scary.
Yes.
you
It's scary.
realize that the
Yes.
black lung is quicker.
With vaping? Really?
I believe so because I think people do it so much more.
It's too
You don't have
easy.
to go outside to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you,
you can sneak a vape when you're watching a wrestling pay-per-view or doing whatever you do. You know, nobody's looking. You know, get a little womp womp.
A little bit of want
a
want.
little bit of want.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is the day of the pay-per-view is gone too.
Man.
Now it's just on. You just have to have the right streaming service or whatnot.
Is
and-
the name of this going to be Where Have All the Good Times Gone?
Well, this is kind of tying into your subject here too.
Oh, okay.
Things that have grown, aged poorly,
Yes.
and things that have aged better or gotten better with age.
Correct.
So, see, I was going to tie these together, and this is the point where I tie it together.
Okay.
So, give me your thoughts. You had talking points. I feel bad because we didn't tell you about this was the subject.
No, this is
but
good.
now I can tie in what you were talking about. So, go ahead.
Well, my thing that I asked you was, what do you feel like that we has not aged as well with us as we had hoped? Kind of like you talked about Goonies, we talked about Rad. Like there's certain things that we watch from our youth that is really good, and then we watch it now and you go, meh,
Wasn't as good as I remembered. Yeah.
not what I thought.
Never.
Like we watched Rocky recently, and she hated it.
Really?
My lady friend, yeah,
I think
not
it's
a fan.
still-
Really?
She was
I think it's still
puzzled at
good.
why this was good, what the redeeming quality was. So, I mean, and that's good to see that kind of stuff because you realize, like, just because you think of this like as something timeless to someone that picks it up in their mid-30s or whatever, they go, "This
Late
is
20s?
yeah." Well, whatever.
I'm
you
just
know,
playing.
I mean, it's
Potato, tomato. We get it. Go for it.
yeah, I mean, you got 50 states. So I just think that it's interesting to look at that kind of stuff. And to me, yeah, when I watched Rocky with her, I was into it. Like at the end, when like
Don't
round
ruin
two.
it. Some people haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a good thing. Like, but with her, yeah, she could care less.
She's like,
Wow.
man, is this over?
In your opinion, did
But
it-
she does like watching Guts. So if you remember Nickelodeon
No
Guts,
way. I
she is
love that show.
all about watching Guts because
And
that
how
was
does-
her youth.
And how does Guts age?
It's very silly.
Because
I don't think they're doing a documentary about people getting touched on Guts. I don't think they're going to be a documentary called Getting Them Guts.
touch my guts.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they weren't raping people during Double Dare either.
Man, I
Supposedly.
always want to take the physical challenge. I have one.
Well,
to say
the
Well,
that.
physical-
that's a whole different subject. If it's
When
the
you're talking about
physical
Nickelodeon
challenge.
now, but Mark Summers was clean on
Yeah.
that. So, and the thing is, Double Dare. There was no show I wanted to be on more
Same.
as a kid than Double. That was everyone.
Yeah, man.
And I watched some of the old classic ones. The questions were a lot easier now. I remember being stumped on a lot of those questions, but the questions obviously weren't that hard for kids. And the physical challenges were fun, kind of lame, but I remember that. And I remember the only thing you wanted to see was them do that run. And it aggravated you when some kids, slipped on the syrup or
Yeah.
they couldn't make it across the pond in time. You're like, come on, move
Dig
it.
in the nose, can't figure
And
it out.
yeah,
It's
they
like,
can't
come
find
on,
her-
you ever
come
seen
on,
this
do
show,
it,
man?
yeah.
Like,
And it's more aggravating to watch, but it's the same over and over again. It's not a bad show, but you need to watch one episode and you're good. Just stop at one. Don't watch a second one
Well, you
because it's
say
very
that,
repetitive.
But for Guts, what I like about watching that with her is it is so
guts.
ridiculous. Like they come up with like nicknames for the kids. They're like, "We got Killer Kevin," and like they'll say he loves playing basketball, and just like what like. I guess like the research and development team, they're like, here, just say this. And say it in a cheesy
Just say
radio
this, yeah.
voice as you have. But I think it's great watching it. So I highly recommend watching Guts. But I didn't watch Guts because I was older at that point. But she enjoys it.
I watch it all the time. You're not that much older than I am. Well, you're several years, but
You know, a game show that came out in the UK. We didn't get it here back in the day, but you can watch it on YouTube. Is the Crystal Maze, and they built an entire huge studio set, and it is 4 different sets. There's like the future, the medieval times, a submarine ship type, and then a jungle Aztec world. And the teams go to all these places and they try to compete in these little challenges. They get to, it's got to be brains, brawn, or time challenge, or something like that. And they have to complete this in such and such a time. If not, then he locks the door behind them and they get locked. Now, someone can, once they get these crystals are worth 10 seconds of time where they go in this big air machine that blows all these silver and gold tickets around where they're trying to grab, that's how much money they'll get. Or if they get X amount, they get a prize. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to get rid of these crystals when you get them, but to release one of your teammates to help you out in other challenges, you got to pay you got to pay a penalty. It's really strong, and it's really good. And I'll binge watch a ton of those when my buddy from the UK told me about it.
What's it called again?
The Crystal Maze. It's amazing. It came out. It was late '80s, early '90s stuff, and the set pieces, the time, and some of the challenges are really interesting. Like, you know, the little marble maze that you had. It was a plastic little marble maze. Okay, they built a big one, a table one with a glass top and a rotator, and you had to stand on it. But you held onto a rope to keep your balance, but you'd stand and move your feet and try to move the ball around in X amount of time. That's cool. And then they had other things too. You were in a remote control boat on the water, but you had to go through this maze, and you had to control the motorboat in time and get around these little mines that would blow up the boat and maybe flip it upside down if you got too close to them. But you were timed on that. So all these little challenges, and they switched them up every episode. You know, or sometimes
Which
they have
took a ton of work.
They'd have a logic puzzle or whatever, a riddle you'd have to solve. Or something. You know, it was always these little games, and then at the end, the whole team, or what was that? You wanted your whole team there. If your whole team wasn't there, it was just you and 2 others maybe grabbing. This is why you wanted to free other people, so you could grab these. It was gold and silver tickets.
Man, you were really like this show.
Oh, it was great because every gold you want, and they were kind of glittery gold and silver. You only wanted to grab the silver ones, I think, because every time you grabbed a gold by accident, that was going to take away one of the silvers.
Oh.
So it wasn't just going crazy, grabbing everything you could. You had to make
all.
sure you grabbed the right ones and put them in the little pocket. And then they count them up and they tell you if you won the grand prize or this prize or no prize, depending on how much you could gather. And the little crystal balls would sink into the ground every time the 10 seconds. It took 10 seconds for each. It's really awesome. I'm just saying, game shows like that, they don't make anymore. Okay, you keep laughing. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. All right.
Well, did you tell him about your grand prize game win?
Yes, we've covered
We've
that.
talked about this Bozo show because, to be honest,
It's a perfect name.
if I couldn't be on the Bozo show, I wanted to be the kid playing at home.
Dude, always want to be the kid.
But
at home.
I was
Never
shocked
had a
when
chance.
he kind of broke the third wall on me and said, yeah, they sent me that stuff like a month before it aired.
Yep.
So
Big
you're in
box from WGN showed up at my house.
You thought it was Brave stuff?
No,
That's-
that would be the Cubs.
Cubs.
I'm just playing. I was trying to make. That was terrible.
Okay.
Crap.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Team Rad.
Yeah.
You
Team
need
Dad.
Team Dad.
Oh man,
Team
that was
Dad.
terrible.
That's all right.
But yeah, so I opened it up and it had like a case of Big League
TBS.
Chew in it. It had like a model car. It had Brave Star action figures
Brave?
in it.
Oh,
Wow.
Brave Star. It's like-
Okay.
and then of course the kicker of it was it had a certificate for Rosa's Bakery in,
Yeah.
in Chicago that they
Great.
gave you for your birthday.
The
Like
birthday
everybody
cake.
got that.
Great. So if you're ever in Chicago for your birthday,
Yeah,
Right.
Next time
you
you're
can get
up
a
there.
cake.
Right. But it was just cool to have that. And
That
then
is
they were-
cool.
And then they had a
Oh,
letter in
Do you
there.
have
the camera.
anything from that?
I don't.
I can't
That's
believe
too
that,
bad.
dude.
Yeah.
Did it have a letter from Bozo or something?
It probably did.
That'd have been awesome.
Probably did.
Like
Is it a
one of the things I
reference?
regret not holding. I mean, we didn't know.
I did tape it when it was on, but it was on like beta or something.
Yeah.
So it just faded away.
Well, I was a member of Voltron. I was in the Voltron membership club.
I
and
got
I had
a Voltron OG watch.
I
Sorry.
had the membership card you put in
excited.
your wallet, the little letter they gave you welcoming to you,
Wow.
or something. And I was like so proud of that Voltron ID that you're part of the Voltron club. And I wish I would still had it.
I have my original Voltron
What?
watch.
What?
Spit it out, Tim.
I'm just saying, like you wish you could have had some
I just
Bozo
think
stuff.
that's great that you remember that so vividly.
I was a proud member of
and
Voltron. I showed that off to my friends. Like, are you a member of their fan club? Because I
believe
am.
it's
I didn't
coming
have the
across
fan
on this
club,
podcast.
but I've got the watch.
I didn't have a driver's license, but if I was ever pulled over, I'd have shown that to the cop.
I don't have my license, sir, but
I can have faces.
As you see, I'm
As you
in
can
with
tell.
Voltron.
Yeah. I'm
So
really
you better
in
not
this
mess
world.
with me.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just going to tell you.
Oh my god.
there aren't any girls around here, I assure you. Just us boys.
There were no girls in the Voltron Club. I am almost positive that. I think the princess was the only one who was a part of the club.
That was just
And
the-
that princess was probably the double from Rad.
Oh,
Dude,
well, I don't know. She wasn't sporting that rhinestone enough for me. But anyway, though, did you have something from your childhood you wish you'd kept like that? Like a bozo package?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I had crud, man. Spot put on my spot. I've been giggling the whole time, having a good time. Now I'm totally ratzed.
Are you thinking about when your parents separated after phase
That
death?
was-
Exactly.
that was
You want to
pretty
talk
fun.
about those vivid memories?
What can I wish? Something didn't age well. Being an only child in a divorced home.
About to be some stuttering and tears coming on.
And us joking about your family.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's fun.
Wow. Or the persona of the audience just went south for us, Wes. So I'm sorry that I got that joke from the black web. So
Let's support mental health this month.
that's right. In fact, Wes wants to hear about everyone's drama. Please, we'll get your email out there. Well, I'll attach
Yes,
it to
we,
this thing.
we want you to know that you matter.
Just don't
Just
bother
not
Wes.
here.
Just so any fan club you were a part of as a kid. That was really the only thing I remembered being.
I think Brandon should cover the group he was in
Okay.
when he was
yeah.
a little boy,
No,
What group?
a young
the
man.
neighborhood group.
A young man.
what neighborhood group? Were you part of a little club?
It was a gang.
What were they called?
We're Cobras.
Team Rad. Cobras? They were Cobras.
We had hand-drawn T-shirts. They were awesome.
How did you hand draw a T-shirt?
Oh, I didn't.
You got permanent marker?
One of our family, our original members, he drew them for us. We had,
and you all had white. I'm sure they were white T-shirts.
They were
He just
solid
drew 'em.
white,
Okay.
of course, man.
But if you wore a Cobra shirt, you were part of the group.
Bro, nobody stepped to you. I can tell you that. That's for facts. I can say this: we had a small initiation to get in. If
Mm-hmm.
you weren't able to jump off the house onto the trampoline, and then make that.
Oh, so
We
the
would
initiation
shoot
was
you-
jump off the house onto the trampoline.
Except
It
for,
wasn't like a snake bite and someone sucked the blood out of it.
Oh no, there was none of that. There was no.
There was
blood
no sucking?
No, no
Okay.
blood sucking. But there was staple shooting. So if you couldn't jump off the roof,
Staple shooting.
we had a couple guys that want to jump off the roof, so we would just stand, about 40 feet away and shoot.
Yeah, I know
them.
shooting people with staple guns.
Yeah, it didn't actually. It'd hang in the skin every now and then, but it didn't really penetrate.
Like a Cobra bite.
A little bit. Look, you got to earn it, bro. You want to be in or not?
So when you jumped onto the trampoline and jumped off, did you have to sing Cobra like that or something?
yeah, no, we just kind of.
Did y'all have a war call?
A
motto?
I think we just had a lot of plans, and they just didn't really work out.
What were your plans? To get even with the girls, the slimy girls?
Well, I don't know what the plans were, man. I think it was we like to have bottle rocket wars and ride bicycles, and we watched Rad a lot. We were freaking badass. I mean, it was just we set the tone for the neighborhood, man.
So you wish you had your Cobra T-shirt.
I do.
You have it?
I don't.
Oh.
I do wish I had it. I do have.
Who do you remember? Who were the other members of Cobra? Tell me. Give me their names. I need to know who they are.
You can't give real names. You gotta be aliases.
Okay, give me their aliases. Give me first names. I don't know these people.
I'm sure one was Copperhead.
Yeah.
One was Python.
Yeah. One. Tim was in it.
Okay.
Jonathan was another one. That
Okay,
was
so
in it.
you know these are
Jamie was another guy that was in
So
it.
these are your ride or dies.
Not really ride or dies. It was just like ride for nows.
It kind of faded
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
what
didn't
happened?
the
How did
back
they-
marker
We
on
didn't
the
really do a lot of
t-shirt.
fighting.
Was it because the Berlin Wall came down and y'all
No,
decided there was no? Okay,
I think it was because I want to say
your parents
that
separated and you were
people-
watching Faces of
It was
Death.
terrible. Like I immediately went next level with my level of like what we're gonna do to get in here. Like okay, we're no longer just gonna shoot staples. We're gonna put it to the skin. No, I'm teasing. Like, yeah, man. It was
So what happened? How did it break
just-
up?
I think so. Essentially, a couple of girls came into the picture, and like not for me, obviously.
Wait, they left y'all for women?
Well, you don't really ever leave the Cobras. You just kind of take a break. You know what I'm saying? Like you're always in.
So instead of
I mean, I'm still in.
so that they sunk their
guess.
fangs into something else.
Yeah,
Cooties.
freaking Marty. She messed it up for everybody.
Oh,
And
she's
Shelley.
the Yoko Ono of the group.
Marty and Shelley both.
Okay.
Yeah, and Christy. I didn't make out with any of them. It sucked, man.
Oh, I hate
Tried
them, man.
hard too, man. It just didn't work out for me.
I hate them all, especially Christy.
It didn't age well.
You know what? Christy's fat now, so take pleasure in that.
Actually, I think that's facts. You're really not wrong. You really aren't. It's a good time though, man. I wish that I had.
Instead
I
of
wish
doing
I
her
kept that.
podcast about her daddy issues, she's eating Little Debbie's. While Brandon's stuttering and crying on this one.
She's studying the faces of little Debbie's.
Oh man, it was wild.
Okay.
I do wish I had that. That would be neat just to have because we had. I mean, we
What,
were
a Faces of Death
everywhere.
video or the?
No, I don't want that, man. That I'm saying that
So,
last one.
so
that
you
was
and
worse.
Gabby are never bonding over Faces of
No,
Death.
chance, man. I hope not. Like I surely hope not.
Okay,
That was
good.
terrible. That
Good.
was so bad.
So the moral compass has kind of shifted away from Faces of Death now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's for all of us here.
Yeah,
But
no
anyway,
doubt.
all right. Well, good discussion. Good discussion. We'll end it there, folks. And let us know. Are we terrible people?
Let us know when your parents split up. Does it still affect you?
And if you were ever in a gang,
And if you're ever in a
important.
gang,
And
what was the name
what
of
was
the gang?
name? Yep.
That's what we want to know. Were you ever in a gang?
No.
Big head.
Okay, the big heads. There you go. All right,
No,
folks.
not in a gang, but I think I did see you at the Macy's Day Parade. You had some strings holding you. They were floating you through town. It was terrible. I tried. Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a long day.
Take the gun out, boys and girls. All right, we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.